Have you ever noticed how the first way you learn to do something, or the first idea that really truly clicks, just sticks? It's like our brains find a path and decide, yep, this is the one, and then we can spend years walking it. So let's dive into why that happens, and why that first path might not actually be the best one forever.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It's not some big, dramatic choice we make. It's this quiet, almost automatic process where our mind just latches on to an early answer. The first teacher we really trust, or the first strategy that actually works. And boom, a permanent reference point is born.
And this whole phenomenon, it actually has a name: the duck syndrome. The analogy is kind of perfect, right? A duckling hatches and instantly latches onto the first moving thing it sees, assuming it's mom. It's not about being right. It's all about being first. And our minds, in so many ways, do the exact same thing.
So, how does this imprinting even begin? Well, it all starts with our brain's fundamental need for a map in what can feel like a really chaotic world. Now, what's really interesting here is that this isn't some bug in our system. It's a feature. It's a survival mechanism. I mean, when you're new to anything, a job, a relationship, life itself, you don't have time to test every single option. You need something stable, something that works right now, just to cut through the noise. Certainty feels like safety.
And this first solution bias, well, it shows up everywhere. Just think about it for a second. That first productivity app that finally organized your life. The first political viewpoint that seemed to explain the world in a way that just made sense. Or the first dynamic in relationship that you started to equate with love. These things aren't just tools or ideas. They become these foundational parts of our personal map.
But here's where the story takes a really interesting turn. Once that map is drawn, our role in relation to it starts to quietly, almost invisibly, shift.
This really illustrates the change perfectly. We start out as explorers, genuinely curious, asking, okay, what is true here? But once we find an answer that gives us that comfort, that clarity, we become guardians of that answer. Our primary question flips from what is true to how do I defend this? The goal is no longer about understanding, it's about consistency.
And this is so crucial. This isn't about intelligence at all. It's really an act of loyalty. We become loyal to our past self, the one who is confused and then found so much relief in that first answer. To abandon that first solution feels like we're betraying that person, like we're admitting they were totally wrong, and that is a really hard thing to do emotionally.
But of course, this loyalty comes at a cost, because eventually the world changes, we change, and that old map starts to create some serious friction. So when the map starts failing, what do? Do we throw it out and draw a new one? No way, that's way too scary. Instead, we start patching it up. We find excuses for why it's not working, we twist new evidence to fit the old model, and we start seeking out people who agree with our original belief. It feels like we're being consistent, but really, it's just stubbornness. And you can see these cracks appearing in all parts of life. In a career, it's holding on to a job that made you successful 10 years ago, even if you're miserable now. For an artist, it's repeating that creative style that once won awards, but now just feels empty. We're defending the framework instead of asking if the foundation is even sound anymore.
This is such a powerful idea. What we first see as discipline, sticking to our principles, sticking to our methods, can, without reflection, become this self-imposed cage that stops any real growth in its tracks.
And this, right here, is the tragic error in thinking. We start to feel that stagnation, that sense that all our effort isn't leading to any progress. But instead of questioning our internal map, we start blaming the external world. We get frustrated that reality isn't conforming to our model.
But there is a way out of this. And this brings us to the turning point in our journey, finding the courage not just to act, but to revise.
It all starts with this one simple and, let's be honest, incredibly dangerous question. The moment you ask yourself this honestly, you can't unask it. It's the key that starts to unlock the cage. So, the way forward isn't about declaring your past self a fool. It's not about erasing that first solution. It's about demoting it. You take what was once a sacred, untouchable truth, and you turn it back into what it always was, just one tool among many.
So here's a pretty actionable framework. First, demote the past. Just acknowledge, hey, that was a tool that was useful then. Second, start testing new models. Just try things out, playfully, without all the pressure of finding the new permanent answer. And third, and this is the big one, shift your loyalty. Stop being loyal to what worked and start being loyal to what works.
That shift in loyalty we just talked about, it requires us to change the very question we ask ourselves. See, the Guardian is always asking this question, is this consistent with who I am? It's a question that keeps us totally anchored in place, protecting an old identity.
But the Explorer? The Explorer asks a different, way more powerful question. Does this work better now? This simple little shift moves the focus from protecting our identity to real-world effectiveness. It's so liberating.
And this shift, well, it's the ultimate goal. It completely reframes the entire purpose of our personal and intellectual growth.
This gives us a totally new definition of resilience. It's not about gripping tighter to our beliefs. It's the ability to let go of an old one without completely falling apart. It's about treating our ideas like software. They need regular updates to function properly.
And that's the real insight here, isn't it? The greatest journey we can take isn't just about accumulating more and more facts. It's about letting go of our rigid need for certainty and embracing the incredible power of being able to adapt.
And I really want to leave you with this final thought. Your first answers, they're always going to shape you, but they don't have to define you. The moment you realize you don't have to follow that first duck, that's when you gain the freedom to actually choose your own path.